I feel as though we, the fans, have somewhat of an obligation towards Max Holloway to push him in some sort of a direction. He said after his post-fight interview at 300 after knocking out Gaethje cold that he was going to wait and see which way the wind blows. See which way the UFC, the powers that be, Dana, Hunter, what are they going to give him next? Let's roll back before the BMF title was put on the line. We were not asking for Justin Gaethje versus Holloway. We were probably looking at other 155ers, possibly 170 pounders to go against Gaethje. But when the fight was booked, we all got behind it. Out of nowhere, Holloway versus Gaethje became the people's main event, the must-see fight of the most anticipated pay-per-view of the year, possibly since 200. So, Holloway saying that he wants to see what comes up, what comes his way. I feel like we got to put something in his way. We got to line him up with something that we want to see, and there's all kinds of options on the table. He's one of the greatest at featherweight, and he's one of the new greats in lightweight simply by dethroning Justin Gaethje of his BMF title. So, let's start there. Lightweight. We got Dustin Poirier facing off with Islam Makhachev for the title. He said, maybe that title picture, maybe he's next. So let's say Dustin beats Max. Do we want to see Dustin versus Max again? Yes. Do I want to see him for the BMF or do I want to see him for the lightweight? Probably for the lightweight. They already faced off for that interim. And, maybe the rematch is for the real thing. I wouldn't put the BMF title in that category. And same thing with Islam. I don't even know if Islam is going to consider Max for the lightweight title. And I don't think he has any interest in the BMF title. So we can pretty much count Islam right off the bat. Not going to happen. My next two in consideration, which are Conor versus Chandler. The winner of this already anticipated match, what's the bounce? What do they do next? Probably neither one of them are fighting for the lightweight title, but that BMF, like you could say that Chandler's a little bit too much of a Boy Scout, but as soon as that cage door locks, that is a bad mamma jamma. You do not want to be there in the cage with Chandler. That is a bad dude. He is a tough son of a gun. And if you were to put him up for the BMF title, I think we could all forgive some of his polite language. He's a baby face. He's not a heel. Like, you think the BMF would be more of a heel. But then again, Max Holloway's a super nice guy too. But we don't doubt their toughness for even a second. I put Chandler as top of the pile as far as this conversation goes. Followed by McGregor, who I just don't think is going to get the win. Like, the dude had his time. He's one of the greatest. I'm not going to try to take, there's a lot of haters out there. I'm not going to try to take anything away from McGregor's accomplishments. But those accomplishments are well in the past. It's been like 10 years since he held a belt. So maybe Conor gets it, and that could be another rematch. I don't think the way to go with the BMF title is to do a rematch. Like, it's such a gimmick already. And fans allow the gimmick, we accept the gimmick, we even love the gimmick because it allows us to see a super fight between two of our favorite guys, in the top 10, maybe not getting a title shot, but to get their recognition, to get the highlight, top of the card, the spectacle of it all. You can't deny that Conor fits the criteria for this. It's just the rematch with the BMF. I feel like the parody, seeing something unique and special, not the rematch. So Conor, I like as a BMF challenger, and if he gets that win over Chandler, and he gets on the mic and says, Max, let's do the rematch. We did it at 145. I'm willing to give you a second chance to get that win back against me, so long as you're putting up the BMF title on the line. Then we can create a storyline in which we don't necessarily need something new. We can do a rematch so long as it's done correctly. And it isn't Max coming up to Conor or even Chandler saying, hey, do you want this opportunity? If you have the title on your shoulder, they need to be coming to you and challenging you. It's not a BMF move to go up with a smile on your face and offer the guy the chance. That's just not how this thing works. So either one of those guys could get on the mic after their fight and challenge Max for the BMF title. I just think Chandler would be the better option because it's got some parity. It's something we haven't seen yet. And I just think Chandler, he's just got more momentum. He's had more time in the ring recently, and I doubt that Conor's still got it in him. Like, call me a hater, but I see Chandler winning this one, not because I want him to. I just objectively think Chandler has the advantage over Conor. Then that brings us to the featherweight division, where I think we have two good options in Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega. However, both those guys have the same issue as Conor, being the rematch, and they would both have to go out and politic and challenge Max for the belt. However, neither of those guys has the popularity of a Conor McGregor, and I don't even know, like, maybe they have more followers than Chandler, but right now I feel like so many eyes are on Chandler, and he's got so much attention, and just the momentum of his career is greater than that of Yair and Brian, regardless of any other metrics. So I like those guys as BMFs. I just don't know if we could do a rematch with Holloway for the title with either of those guys. And that brings us to the new champ. God, after Max knocked out Gaethje, homeboy looked shook. Ilia Topuria was like, and then saying how unimpressed he was. Like, dude, we all know you're lying. And so I don't think Ilia has any interest in challenging Max for the BMF, and I don't think he has any interest in Max being his next challenger. However, this is the one time where Max can use his belt as leverage. Dana will not book the fight. However, publicly, Max could put his belt into Poirier's face and say, I'm willing to put up mine if you're willing to put up yours. And if Ilia backs down to that challenge publicly, it will make him look weak as the champion. It will make Max appear to be the true champion of the division if he can say that my belt holds more weight than yours, so long as you're not willing to put yours on the line. I am. That makes me the winner simply by you being a coward. And that might be Max's best shot to get what he really wants, which is some real UFC gold. As great as the BMF is, as much as we love it, there's nothing like the real championship. And I think Max's best shot to getting that belt wrapped back around his waist is to put the one he already has in the face of Ilia Topuria and say, I challenge you. I've been your boy, Diesel Time. This has been another edition of Dummy Takes. Like and subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Who do you want to see Max face? Heavyweight? Nah, probably not. Flyweight? Nah, probably not. But hey, feather and lightweight both have great options. All kinds of fighters coming up in the ranks. Who knows? Maybe it's Sarukian.